I hope you had a really good fall break, a little bit of rest and good time away from your computers. The module we're starting this week is going to be a little more complex, but I'm really impressed by how you have started to grow in terms of your thinking as geographers. In the discussion that we started this past module, I've seen so many incredible, insightful, and complex answers to the questions about these migrations and some of the factors that are driving them. So what I feel pretty confident at this point that putting a little sort of turning up the complexity even more shouldn't be a big problem at this point. I think you're doing really well, and I'm looking forward to see you excel towards the end of this course as a newly minted geographic world thinker. This module will primarily be about colonialism and the legacy that colonialism has left in today's world. You have seen in the migration readings and those videos that talked about the migrations how there are some traces of past events that kind of linger even today. We know that the Middle East has been a bit of a hotbed because of the way that colonial powers decided to carve up that part of the world, and similar things have happened really across most of the non-Western world, and even in North America and South America we see that legacy still today. So what we're doing is looking back in time at that sort of really starting with the Age of Exploration, but as we move forward where colonial powers started to exert control over places where resources that they wanted was located, and started having trade and economic exchanges. This process of colonialism has started to involve all kinds of human factors that are geographically distributed and therefore varies in place, and no place is really the same as the other. We have things like language that you are going to explore in this module as a first piece. It's not unrelated, but a little bit separated from the later part of the module. So language is one factor, but then you can think of religion, you can think of economy, politics, resources, how all those factors kind of play into what we see in today's world in terms of things like events around the Rohingya crisis, where politics, ethnicity, religion, it all play in. Also the way that part of the world was carved up by the colonial powers, and later by independent nations like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and the Southeast East Asian countries. So I hope that this module won't turn you totally confused. It is a little less kind of sort of streamlined, structured. There are a couple of separate videos that'll introduce and explain different aspects of this colonial history, the legacy of colonialism in terms of racism, and also sort of a primer on how colonialism and the sort of the effect of looking at someone else, the other, them versus us, has important implications for how we today look at, for example, different cultures. So in your cultural events, activities, these things actually play into each other as well. So please take your time through this module, think hard, and continue to think about the connections, how things are related. It's not always that you can find the tie-in spatially, but when you look at the different factors, you can see how they connect with each other, sort of in the minds of people, and also sort of in kind of a mental space and not just the physical world space. On the discussion post, I also wanted to encourage you, even if you're late and haven't submitted a discussion post by the due date, there's no harm in, and actually it's beneficial for you to submit after the fact. There's just a smaller deduction for lateness, and since these discussions build on each other, it's important to get the first one in order to be able to follow up with a second one. So as soon as you're able to post something later rather than never, okay? And I think that really would be it for today. I don't have any other particular things to remind you about, other than keeping up the good job. We are continuing to search for local world culture events. So if you know of something, please send us those. We posted a few just these past few days. So there are things coming up that you should be able to go to and enjoy, a piece of world culture here locally. So with that, I wish you the best of luck with this module. Hope you enjoy it and gain further insights into what makes up our wonderful world today.